Release worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
One of the best things about Chapter 32 of the Dragon Ball Super manga is that we got a little more of an insight in what makes Planet Sadal work. And this is really cool because this could have been potentially where Dragon Ball Super as the anime could have gone if it wasn't ending here in March. And if it comes back from a hiatus or turns into a different Dragon Ball anime altogether, this could be the direction that they could go. Now, although the Universe 6 Saiyans evolve beyond their tails and are less aggressive than the Universe 7 Saiyans, they still have a lot of similarities. And actually, there is a good case that could be made that the Universe 7 Saiyans were more aggressive because of the fact that they were pushed on by the Frieza Force to conquer new worlds, as opposed to just staying dormant on planet Vegeta. But as the manga shows Planet Sadal, it essentially is just one planet that the Universe 6 Saiyans rule over, or the king rules over. And honestly, it is a lot more primitive than I would have imagined. The Universe 6 Saiyans have vehicles with wheels instead of hovering all over the place. They seem to be driving through what looks like slums, and honestly, these slums or the housings look similar to the houses of the inhabitants of Planet Plant. If you guys have seen the episode of Bardock movie, you guys know what I'm talking about. So it seems very, very similar, but nonetheless, they seem to be going through poor areas in the beginning of the manga. The king seems to really not have full control over the planet because there is hints of rebel cells and gangs just going about their business, so much so that they see the gang that's led by Caulifla as being too powerful, or at least Caulifla being too strong to mess with, so they just leave her alone to her own devices, which to me further makes it seem like the Planet Sadal King has really not full control over the planet, which is really quite interesting. I figured the planet would be unified under one flag and maybe conquering, or at least have another few worlds under its control, but no, it doesn't seem like that's the case. The Planet Sadal King even has to go out and get tribute from what seems to be different villages or different cities, and bring them back to what I'm assuming is the capital. Really working like a king from the medieval ages, which again, in my opinion, I thought that Planet Sadal would be a lot more further advanced when it came to the way they operated. It seems like the soldiers of Planet Sadal, the characters that are wearing the same uniform as Kaba, as far as weapons go, it seems like maybe the average soldier has some sort or form of training when it comes to martial arts, seeing as how the soldier in the beginning of the manga decided to assault and attack Caulifla head on without using his weapon, and then was taken down relatively quickly. The weapons are very primitive, very similar to the weapons that we have, the Earthlings have in Universe 7, not similar at all to the weapons that the Frieza Force has in Universe 7. But to be honest, it doesn't look like their army is that powerful, at least as a whole. It seems like the only characters that have access to these beam or ki attacks and maybe have a more advanced level of training is the Sadala Defense Force, which is what Kaba is part of, and his master Renzo, the one that we saw in the Dragon Ball Super anime. And in conclusion, in many ways, the Planet Sadal seems to be very medieval and not as advanced as I originally would have thought. And to be honest, the manga gives off this impression that a lot of the planet is also impoverished, or at least maybe those pertaining to the lower class. And rebel cells and bandits like Caulifla can operate on their own, even attacking Sadal army forces, taking the tribute that was headed toward the Sadal King and giving it back to the people, sort of like this Robin Hood operation. But if Planet Sadal does come back from erasure and Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale end up going back, I can see some major changes happening to the planet. First of all, those that can become Super Saiyan more than likely will become Super Saiyan, and more likely the ones part of the Sadal Defense Forces will be the first one, including the King. But then you have to take into account that in one of these gangs you have Caulifla, which on her own, without going Super Saiyan, the Sadal army was too hesitant to provoke, and now she is a Super Saiyan 2, and she can more than likely go further beyond the Super Saiyan 3 territory. And not only that, but her protege, her number 2 in charge, is the legendary Super Saiyan or legendary Berserker Super Saiyan. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Planet Sadal comes back, how their introduction or reintroduction back into Planet Sadal society is going to change the planet as a whole, and hopefully we see that in a future version of Dragon Ball Super or its next incarnation. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Planet Sadal and some of the things that maybe I had missed from reading the manga or the events from the anime, because I just kind of try to hone in everything that I could and figure out exactly how this place works, because it intrigues me to no end. Drop me a like if you haven't already and subscribe. This is going to be Dragon Ball Black signing off.